Hi everyone, and welcome to Lab to Add Leadership, a space where we talk about career skills, purpose, and leadership for the next generation. I'm Gitika, your host and the author of I Don't Know My Career Yet, and That's Okay, a book rooted in uh, one simple truth: it's okay not to figure out everything yet. Instead, uncertainty can be a powerful place to grow. So today's conversation can bring these ideas to life. Today, I'm really pleased that I'm joined by Varun, founder of Edvour, an organization that has been creating global education experiences for young people since 2010. Edvour also helps schools designing life-changing learning experiences for the young peoples. So welcome, Varun, and thank you for joining me today. So to start off, I just want to know, like people who may be hearing you for the first time, could you introduce yourself and the work you do?
Hi, thank you, Gitika, for having me here, and you're looking fabulous as always. Um, for your listeners, my name is Varun Jindal, and I have been running an organization called Edvour, through which we organize life-changing experiences for young learners who are studying in school. So my journey started back in 2010, and since then we have been able to connect with the tens of thousands of schools and students and taken them for life-changing international study trips.
Thank you, Varun, for sharing your journey. And it's been a long time when you started, so that's brilliant. Okay, what inspired you personally to join Edward? Like, is there any defining moment that make you think that's making an impact in education and skill development?
I clearly remember, during our engineering school days, we did a project with NASA's Johnson Space Center. So we were a team of around 15 young, students who traveled all the way to Houston, and we delivered a project. And I could see, more than the project. Of course, it was a great learning experience, but I could see a lot of students traveling from across America. Across There were some teams from Australia, few teams from UK, as well as some other countries. I could see the kind of impact it was making at such a tender age. And although being a good student in my school academically, I felt that that was something that gave me a lot of edge and a lot of understanding of how world works. And that was a really, you know, kind of a missing piece that I found that is important for a young student's journey. And from there onwards, we tried with the idea with few schools here and there, and eventually it turned out into a full-blown practical company, which was helping students and schools organize such wonderful journeys quite early in their lives, so that once they are ready to take a decision for their career, they have more exposure at their hands.
Thank you, Varun, for sharing this practical insight. And I think exposure plays a big role as early as possible. They get the exposure to new experiences, and I think that can help making the decisions much more profound and much more easier without having a pressure of without knowing things. So,
Right.
yep. That's wonderful. Okay, so start something. You have started this at such a young age, and starting something is never so easy. So, are there
Mhm.
any moments in your life when you doubted yourself or the mission, and then how do you push yourself through?
Mission was always wonderful. When we started, we were lucky enough to have already done an MVP in terms of, we were already a batch who traveled there and felt the impact. So there was never any doubt in the mission. But yes, entrepreneurship journey itself is never easy, especially when you are starting up. And I had my share of restless nights when business and anything that you're selling takes time, and you're not used to not having any revenue, not having any profits coming up. So there were quite a few, I would say, couple of years till I could get used to the idea of such a lifestyle in which, the the money is not as frequent as a job. But then the overall in later parts, I became more used to the kind of ebbs and flows of a business. So that was okay, I think that was one of the most challenging thing because I did work for some of the best MNCs for a couple of years before getting back to this idea and taking this full time into business.
Thank you again, Varun, for sharing this. And I know I think this would be quite inspiring to many youngsters who are pushing themselves and wants to start something, and they're afraid to take that first step. So, and I think that first step and then believing in yourself is really powerful to push yourself through these struggles throughout your life. And I'm really inspired as well, the journey you just shared and how you managed.
I hope my story doesn't scare off people because eventually it does pay off. It's just to tell you that journeys are not easy, but the hard things are supposed to be hard, and you should be aware of that because once you get used to it, then it becomes easy.
Yep. Thank you for sharing that. And can you, like, I know you've talked about Edvour and your organization, but could you share more in depth about its mission, who it serves, and how is it different from other educational initiatives?
Right. So Edvour's mission is to ensure that every school has a platform where they can take their young pupils, young students for life-changing journeys. It could be within their own country or largely internationally, because right now we are in a pretty united world, and international experiences are very, very important for children so that they should know how the world is behaving, not just their own city, not just their own country, but they have to be aware internationally. So that's our mission, to enable every school, whether small, whether international, whether global, whether aided or privately funded, that they should have a platform where they can seamlessly organize any international trip for the children in a very safe, secure, and hassle-free way.
And I think like what you're trying to do is like connecting the world together. And I think that's what like because so many kind of people and so many kind of families are now traveling across the world and have different
Right.
experiences. And in every school, you can say a diverse range of pupils. And I think when you share these experiences together, that makes even more powerful rather than just learning kind of one type of way. So I think that that's really good initiative. And I think that stands you out different from other educational institutions who might be in a similar space. So, okay, so what are the biggest challenges that Edvour is trying to solve today for the young people?
The, uh, the biggest challenge that we believe, and more so right now, a lot of things are theoretical or on screen. These days, screens have taken place of textbooks. So a practical experience, like actually seeing how a society works, a society which you are not used to. For example, when a student from, let's say, India, he or she is traveling to maybe Japan or a Western developed economy, they are amazed to see how traffic runs smoothly in a different way, right? People are organized and the culture is built differently around different ethos, and how that thing is feasible and practical. And many a times when you have just read about these things, they don't impact you that much. But when you see, when these things, when realities, so what we are doing actually is bringing realities closer to you. So what actually is happening can happen in future. We are bringing them closer to children, not in terms of physical distances, but also in terms of times. Like what a child will see once he or she starts working in a proper corporate job at the age of, let's say, 20. We want them to see that at the age of 12 or 13, so that they are well prepared and they are well guided and they gain a lot of time in making right choices.
And I think that's also kind of, also linked back to kind of real world experiences,
Right.
the how, because seeing something on the internet, you get to know the information, but once you actually in there, that brings more wealthy experience to you because you have actually
And
experienced in your life. So,
when you actually feel them, feeling the experiences is more important than just knowing them in today's age, more and more so. And we are, so much surrounded by artificial experiences, screens and videos and reels. Of course, you get knowledge, but the feeling is something which gets the motivation out of the children to actually pursue their dreams.
I agree with you 100% for this. Can you share a story or like any example that really captures your impact of your work you do on a student or a school?
Okay. Uh, all right. I'm sure our work has impacted in a lot of ways because when children travel on such a educational exposure program and when they come back, we can see a lot of changes in them. One practical example would be a child who was raised in a business family, and he was supposed to take the ownership or to take hold of the generational business once he completes his education. But he traveled on a educational program in which there was a workshop at MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts, US. And after experiencing that university just for a day, he could feel that energy inside that he wanted to be part of an environment like that before he jumps into any career decision. So I think aligning with your book, he didn't know that he didn't know yet what he wanted to do. So that's the experience that he got there. And incidentally, he studied for his SATs, and he got into a nice engineering school, and he completed his studies and got his career in an engineering field. That was some time back. I'm not sure where he is right now, but that part of the journey, he was still in touch with us, and that's what make us feel proud that, of course, he would have done good with his business and everything. But what we want is having a good life for the children, and a life is good when they are actually motivated to do what hours they are putting every day in and out in their work.
Yeah, I completely agree because I've written in my book as well. Because, if we talk about the traditional career paths, like what our parents have faced or have gone through that journey is like a traditional or a linear phase. Like they do a degree and then choose a career or what their just parents are telling them. So that's what normally they pick. So, but over time, then, like when they start into the uh, work field, they might start feeling upset because that's not what they wanted to do now, the new generation. And then that makes them stuck again at some point of their life, like what they want to do. So, and I think, and that's what I mentioned, like, because nowadays careers are not straight lines. You have the world around you, so you can explore
Mhm.
different options before actually jumping to what you wanted to do for long term, because that
Right.
only comes from intrinsic motivation, and extrinsic motivation or the perks just only rewards you for some time, but not a long term. So,
Right.
and I think that's a perfect example you've just shared, like, how it made impact on some young people, or maybe many people who are listening to us today.
Right.
So, okay, I would like to also know, like, we are really kind of happy when things go planned, but there are certain times when things doesn't go as planned. Is
Mhm.
there any ideas that you have tried but doesn't go as planned, and then what you learn from those experiences?
Right. Uh, Definitely, there were few things that we have tried on the way. We tried, during the time of COVID, we tried creating a platform in which students from different nationalities, from different schools, they could come together and do online projects because they were not able to travel that time. So we tried, and there was a lot of interest that got generated because most of the schools were working online. They were not able to go offline, and they wanted to, there was a demand for varied experiences, international experiences in through online platform. So we built an online platform in which schools could do online exchanges. Uh, but as we started, we started working on it, but it didn't go plan as planned because somewhere the shift from online to offline when it came, then online became a lot of negativity was there around online because parents and teachers they were all tired of screens, and so our program that time it fell through cracks. And what we learned is that the satisfaction of trying your ideas uh, and learning from them is much more important than getting an idea successful because the journey of a business or an idea or a endeavor, it is as similar to a journey of a human being. There are ebbs and flows, there are ups and downs. And I used to hear when I was young that failures teaches you a lot, but I have experienced now that actually that the teaching that you get is amazing, and it is uh, you know it cannot be replaced by any other learning. So the failures, uh, having a failed journey, then I think that, and then you are still having that uh, you know inner strength to go up and keep on continuing. That is something that I would like having my kids to have rather than having a write off successful journey, because the failures teaches you more than and make you more human, and you can enjoy your life more if you have had failures, and that but still keep on going. That is what I feel is important.
And I think the failure is not a sign of weakness, and it's a sign of strength. And you actually able to explore yourself. You able to you that's the time when you have listened to your inner self. And
Right.
I think that's so powerful being as humans. And I think if we understand, because many people just understand from the experiences,
Yeah.
uh, but the ones who have experienced, they can actually can talk and how powerful that could be. And it is proving
It
right.
is. When we speak to children in our sessions, we always say that failures and success, they are not poles opposite. They are just a degree away, like maybe different tones and different atmosphere around them. But what really is poles opposite to success is not trying. You know, the actual meaning of failure is not trying. That is something that I would always tell children whosoever we interact with. And I have felt that it's not something that I've heard about. So it's really powerful, as you have said rightly, really powerful.
And I've written same thing in my book as well, taking that first step take you
Right.
and open so many doors for you and take you so far away. But taking that first step is the courage, and you have to show that courage to and willingness to learn and grow. So
Right.
thank you, Varun, for sharing that. My book, I don't know my career yet, and that's okay. I've talked about the pressure the young people are facing to have their career path early. Like from your experience, what skills matter more than ever before?
Uh, the world is changing, of course. 20 years back, 16, 20 years back, we would used to telling people that, the when you are young students, when they are ready to be in a workforce, by that time jobs will change. So you need to work on skills more rather than subjects, or rather than going in a linear fashion. And I think that's more true today, because even industries right now, they are in a kind of a question due to all of this AI, how fast they can achieve things. So a lot of things now boil down to skills and competencies, and definitely soft skills, what we call, being confident, being able to work with people. Machines can replace a lot of mental work that we do, but they cannot replace the human touch. So we always tell children that, do work on your EQ, do work on your social quotient, do work on your adaptability quotient. Also, because that's the skill, or that's the area that is going to be mattering more and more. Even in our organization right now, we don't need people from a certain background or with certain knowledge, because we know everything that we are doing, it's going to change. So the skills or the tools that they're going to learn, even we don't know yet. They might be new. After 1 month, there might be a new tool which is available in the market. So what we need is competencies. What we need is mental fortitude and choice to work hard, and a choice in which they are adaptable and they are productive in a lot different ways, not in a fixed way. So that's what we believe right now.
All right, but that's brilliant. I know, like, the world full of uncertainties and things are changing than ever before at fast pace, and in my book also, like, I mentioned degree is one part of the journey, but like all other things comes along, and soft skills are the ones which stay with you forever, which can't be
Right.
replaced by this AI or any electronic devices. So
Mhm.
and that's the thing, like they have to develop these soft skills, and it takes time. It's not kind of overnight thing. It just comes with practice. uh
Right.
yeah, so I also want to know, like, how would you help students embrace uncertainty?
Right. Uh, we believe it was true 20 years back, and it will be true after 20 years as well, that putting children in controlled but challenging environments, safe, and it should be safe, definitely, but it should be new and out of their comfort zone. And when you put children in such environments, then they grow, and then they develop those skills and compatibilities. And when we bring realities closer to children, like what is actually happening in a certain culture, how industry is shaping, or how cultures are shaping, how societies are shaping, when you put children right next to there, then they can feel, get inspired, develop their skills, work out what is working for them, what is not. They can fail, they can learn. So that's what we do, and that's where our mission and vision is aligned with the whole purpose. And it is more true than it was 20 years back. And we believe that what we are doing is going to stand true in this uncertain world in coming decades as well. Practical experience is something that is going to be needed more and more, which we are providing right now.
And that links to my, the next question I was about to ask. Like, we talk about adaptability and these practical skills. So, like any skills, life skills you think that has been overlooked but most needed today, apart from what you've just shared, any other life skills?
uh, the agility of mind to get onto plan B when plan A fails, how fast you can move to plan B, that is very much overlooked for many years, and many cultures as well. Like we always talk about giving 100% to one. Once you pick something, give your 100%. But what I have seen in my journey, a lot of students, a lot of professionals, they tend to waste a lot of time, even when the reality is telling them, knocking them on the door that, that's it. It's not moving forward. So this skill is of three steps. The first step is giving 100% to what you are doing right now. And then the second step is where to persevere. Like, of course, many a times your success is just around the corner, and you should not be leaving it too early. But also, you should see as a third step that what is the time then you should be dropping plan A and then moving to plan B as quickly as possible, and then going full guns for plan B. So that agility, both in your skills, in your mindset, and even that works pretty well in your life as well. That's the skill that I would like to see in more and more youngsters will be coming up with that. That is what is needed in today's time.
I think that's again, like, a practical insight, because how quickly they can move from one to another, and how they can embrace uncertainty without being feared. And I think that leads to a kind of long-term success in their life. Uh, like, from the because you are working in the real world, and it's number of years of experience. Like, how do you see like students are getting benefit from your programs, which normally they don't get from the schools alone. Like in a
Right.
traditional classroom where your programs are giving them kind of more and what they're learning might be something more than what's in the traditional classrooms.
Traditional classrooms, they are, unfortunately, they're still, focused on linear kind of learning because that has been working for them for decades, and it's not easy to move away from a very, deep-rooted system. So, it's understandable that the practical experiences are hard to come by. Of course, they try, but that is not available and open to all. Only selected students, and also in selected schools, they are able to, they were able to participate in some international experiences. So I think our ability to provide that to the schools in a very hassle-free, safe, and predictable uh, pattern is something that we are being able to help schools and eventually the kids to learn about that.
Okay, and you have you also talk about one of the example of the student who has like not chosen their family legacy business, but but he has chosen to do something different. And I think that is also going back to, because that's the things may not be being taught explicitly in the schools because and they only go through curriculum and the subjects they needed, and they think, okay, if I feel and like, they normally link their career with just the grades they're getting in. So if they don't
Right.
get the grades and they feel like, okay, I'm not worthy of anything. So, but I think through your initiatives, the programs you're doing, maybe give them much more confidence. Yes, if, again, going back to if this doesn't work, then I still have lots of other options to go for and
Right.
explore and can be successful and will be successful. So,
Right.
so it opens so many kind of doors to them. Have you ever seen, like, I know you've given this example of this child, but I would like to know more examples, like where you have seen a child grown or, grown in an unexpected way.
Right. Uh, there was a child in Australia, and you know, out of his class bunch, he was like the teachers were always reprimanding the child because of not so nice behavior. Child was creating disturbances. What we could see, that child was a lot energetic, and he was seeking attention in the wrong way. And so we, as you know, I happened to be there on that particular program, and we sat among the teachers and chaperones, and I shared my observation, and then what we did was we gave visibility to that child, but with in terms of small responsibilities, like ensuring that every child is on time, or ensuring that if they are going off site, doing head count and reporting it to the teacher, and just being visible in the right way. And we could see that that brought in a duration. That program was for 10 days, and at the end of the program, the child himself was feeling, there was a lot of change in the child, and child himself was feeling that, okay, today I felt a lot of I validation in terms that I was useful on such a big program at a big stage. Although those were small steps, but for a child who was always, who always saw himself being reprimanding, and subconsciously he might be feeling that he's of no use. But that small change in a different environment made him feel that he has his worth, but maybe in a different direction. So, that's one good example that I do remember. And I recall that child even staying in touch with us after a couple of years and telling that that particular program changed his life and his outlook towards his career as well.
That's a perfect example. And I would say like this is like kind of, on day to day as well. I think many teachers in schools, they have seen how young people are attention seekers and it's not something wrong with them. It's all about like using these things into their strengths and
Right.
making it work. And then how it can change the life of, these young peoples for the better future and for themselves. So that's powerful examples, I think, real examples. Thank you, Varun, for sharing that. And I also want to know, like, what mistakes do you think the young people make when they're trying to figure out all and like, the career paths and everything, and how they can avoid that?
I believe there is a lot of pressure these days, more so with the advent of social media. This generation and maybe a generation before that faced a lot of pressure, to make things correct and best in go one. So what you have, done with your book is really fantastic and especially for important because that's one thing that we see that having a lot of pressure actually closes the mind of a child, and that's the one thing that we don't want them to do. Like failing or not succeeding or not having results in your own desired way is okay. Like that's the learning. If everything is happening as what you desired or what you dreamt of, that means you're not learning. Learning means getting feedback, right? So that's how the failure, exact failure is not trying, and not trying happens when you think too much or when you're scared or when your mind is closed. So that pressure needs to be, off from the shoulders of the children, and they need to relax and they need to keep, we like young people because they are energetic, and that's what we want to see in them. Not pressure, but a lot of energy and a lot of enthusiasm in trying new things, failing fast, moving ahead, moving of a plan B, plan C, plan D, and that's how it should. They should keep on moving, not being stuck.
Yeah, thank you, Varun, for sharing that again. Like, and I truly believe in that. And as you mentioned, my book, I also kind of refer to these quite a lot in my book, because it's the pressure it can be come from come from so many different ways. It could be a societal pressure, it could be a peer pressure, it could be a pressure from the family, the expectations they are carrying around without knowing them. So, and I
Mhm.
think that leads to them kind of, they start seeing themselves, if one thing doesn't work or two things doesn't work, and they give up so quickly. And I
Mhm.
think if they can create that resilience and they understand that this is a part of the process,
Mhm.
and I think that allow them to be kind of who they are becoming rather than what who you are, like rather than who you want to become. So, and that shift itself is so powerful to kind of to make them a successful human beings in life without having an extra pressure that they generally carry. Okay, so we talked lots about your organization and the examples you have given, and I think that's so powerful. But I also want to know about you. Looking back into your own journey, your own life, and so much of experience in life. I want to know, like, is there any particular skill you think you would have learned earlier? Or,
You would find this as a cliche, but as a lot of entrepreneurs out there, when I look back at my journey, and I think, and I always feel that I could have taken more risks. Trying more things is always. I'm still happy. I've done, taken my fair share of risks and done things. There have been challenges which have been thrown by life, and I am grateful to people around me, to circumstances, and my education, my parents, for having granted me that fortitude that I have been able to go through them. But still, I believe that looking back at my life, there could have been more risks, and but that also tells me that I'm still a long way from my destination, and my journey still feels that I've still just started. So a lot more risks and a lot more things I want to do in my life yet.
Thank you, Aaron, for being so honest and open because, it's not easy to say all these things very often. So, and I think that inspiring me as well, personally. And I think maybe to the listeners, it could be a changing point for them. So, yeah. So I also want to know, like, has your definition of success evolved over time? And what does success mean to you personally?
Definitely. Biggest change when, in last couple of decades, success used to be more about external validation in terms of how many team members move to how many, what kind of revenue, what kind of impact, the scale of impact. But now, as you grow and move on, you feel that the definition of success has moved to my success right now is that how I am able to use my every second of my day for the things that I love. So spending time for my health is top priority. Then spending time for my family is the second priority. Spending time for the things I love, that is my career, my work, would be my next priority. And then spending time for my leisure and my, other things just to wind down would be another priority. So I see my success if my I am successful at the end of the day if my time has gone into the things which I want uh, my life to go into. So that's the current definition of current definition for me as compared to what it was 20 years back when I started.
Yeah, because and I do agree. Because for the youngsters, they normally translate the success with the money they will get in the life. And
Right.
I know the early you see this, and that's the only step you see. But over time, when you see the world, you see the family, you got responsibilities over time. And I think the best advice I think most of the successful entrepreneurs and the people they feel the ones who have experienced is all about kind of making a work-life balance. If we
Right.
achieve that balance right, and I think that makes us most happiest person in the world. Uh, be-
I I will also add here that I never want to tell anyone that don't work for money. Because I think that's the again one of the most fair evaluator of the value that you're adding back into the world. I never mean to say that, but maybe just focusing on money sometimes move it away. When you're more focused on your inner side rather than outside, the work that you do can become better, and then the money follows. So that whole work-life balance doesn't come after you have earned. It can start early, and then the money will follow, maybe in a better way. That's what I believe right now.
Yeah, I truly agree because money also plays a big role. It's not like you don't do which leads you good money, but you have to do that. But along with you have to making kind of a right balance between having a time for yourself and time for the passion you have. So if it goes hand in hand and the right perfect balance, and I think that make you more even successful. So thank you, Varun, for sharing that. And I think that's powerful advice, or not just advice. I think there's a real experience that you've shared. It's not advice, but just real experience. I know like Edvour has taught you a lot because I've learned today a lot more. But what it has taught you personally, as what has leadership taught you personally?
Oh, a lot of things are, uh, of course, being accountable when you are not just, uh, you know, not just about yourself. You have a team of people, you have your clients, you have your people you are impacting. You have to be accountable for the experiences they are getting to ensure that your systems are built in a way which make it safe for them. And when are facing adverse situations, then you have to be all in. You can't expect anyone else to take uh, you know you have to be all in. Like leadership is not easy, it's hard. So you always have to have all hands on deck. So that's what has taught me. And of course, with changing times, corporate leadership has also changed from becoming I would say people intensive, uh, moving to something called having being effective in leaner times. You have to be more effective rather than more spread out. So that also is a success that you learn with the growing organization, that how that defines your leadership in a different way. Being more effective rather than being more impactful is the scale of impact becomes secondary to being effective sometimes.
Yeah, thank you, Varun. And like, if you have to summarize a leadership in one sentence, what it would be?
Wow. I think I've always gone by the motto that some getting job done in a better way. Like so, for example, you have certain tasks. Even this goes for everyone in our organization, for all people who join, maybe the freshers or maybe the experienced ones. Getting job done is something which is very important, but also have a word better attached to it, so that you're not just doing it for today. You are also ensuring that this is the better way of doing it. I'm not saying best, because best puts a lot of pressure on you. Just have a outlook of better, that if this can be done in a better way, so that it is more sustainable, more you know like more, I would say, better for long term. That's what I would say.
So that leads to like leadership is doing things in a better way rather than trying to achieve the perfection. Not the best, but the
First,
work for the
first
best.
would be getting them done, but having a outlook and at the back of your mind that if possible, within the same time frame, I can do it better and make the process better. That should always be there at the back of the.
Thank you, Varun. Right, Varun, I would like to ask like one more thing. For the students, parents, and educators who wants to explore some different skills, or
Mhm.
maybe they want to develop skills differently, what's the first step you would recommend from your experience?
I think just being more focused on extracurricular activities that are happening in school, or they get to know something. Every parent has a profession that they must be following, right? So whatever is happening in their profession, also that could also be a starting point. Exposing children to different platforms, different environments, different realities is important. So whatever is most easy for you, just try that. If for example, if the mother is a banker, let's say, just informing child, if possible, taking them to the bank one day and telling them what is happening in banking industry. These are new tools which are happening, working. Just telling them that you never know how that skill will help the child once it grows up. That's I think that could be a one starting point.
Definitely. And I think, until you have not never experienced though, I think it's not only like you have to go in a particular company and then you get the experience, but it's the families and friends who are around you and you can see maybe experience one day of their life. So that
Mhm.
can also lead you to kind of think in a different way. So,
Right.
and that brings wealth of experience. That's also count as experience. And I think this experience is greater than the perfection, not the final destination, but like, the steps to reach to your final destination. So,
Right.
yeah, thank you, Varun, for sharing that. And how can people involve with your organization or support your work?
Right. So as I've mentioned that we are working to make it accessible for schools to organize international experiences for the children. So they can reach us at www.edvour.com, and or they can follow us on Instagram, Edvour_edu, and we will of course share our credentials here. So they can reach out to me, they can reach our organization, and we can always engage with them that how they can create meaningful and safe experiences for the children. Maybe traveling to a university in Singapore, or maybe visiting a school in Japan, or visiting an industry in China, doing a wildlife exploration in South Africa, or doing some preservation activity in Australia, doing a university visit, or visiting NASA for a camp, visiting CERN for a camp, attending a session at United Nations, or doing some career exploratory lab workshop at a DNA lab in one of the top universities in the world. So what kind of experiences they want, or even if they want a destination based experience, that's also something that we can guide them. And once we take pride in being flexible and customer centric. what is good for a customer, and we try to bring them a program in a very good value for money. So, we can help them in achieving that.
Thank you, Varun, for sharing that. I think what I feel like, the opportunities you are trying to give them is way more important because, if they can see the opportunities are there in the world, that
Mhm.
allow them to come out of their shoes and then, stepping into these different experiences. And I think that's really good. So, is there, I know you mentioned your website and kind of opportunities you can create and can offer them. But
Mhm.
how would they connect with you and where the listeners can learn more about your organization? Um,
Right. I think through Instagram or through our website. Also, they can reach out to me. We are extensively available on WhatsApp, and of course, they are listening to you. If they reach out to you, I think that could also be one of the options to reaching us. We are. I also want to mention that we have also done expeditions to Antarctica. Like that's also one of the great experiences that we have been able to involve our clients with. So all kinds of experiences we are here to provide in a safe environment. And anyone who shared thoughts with us or share our feelings and our vision, we would be more than excited to work with them.
Thank you, Varun, for sharing that. I think that's really powerful. So, if anyone is looking to have this international experience, Endeavor is the best place to go to, or you can come to us as Lab to Ed Leadership, and we are happy. Me and Varun are happy to support you in any form or shape. So we listen to you, what your needs are, and then we can coordinate with you to meet your requirements, so you can get the best experience. As you're looking for. So thank you, Varun, for sharing such an honest conversation and thoughtful conversation today. I really appreciate you sharing not just the success, but also the challenges and the reflections from your journey with Edvour, right? So what really stood out for me today was the idea, the exposure, skills, and confidence matter more far than having a perfect career mapped out plan. So something that aligns with me so closely and go with the message with my book. I don't know my career yet, and that's okay. So the more we make uncertainty normal, and I think that will allow these youngsters to grow even more. So, if you're listening and are feeling unsure about next steps, whether you are a student, early career educator, or established leader, or to anyone who are listening to our podcast, and I hope this conversation reminding you that not knowing everything today is not a weakness. It's just a starting point. And thank you everyone for listening. See you next time. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Geeta, for giving such an amazing opportunity to reach out to young learners. Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you, Varun.